So I just got these in, so I'm reviewing them probably a little bit late, but you'll see Air Max DN. And out of all the ones that were released, there were about, I think, 6-7 pairs releasing, and they kind of had like black or a sail colour, or the black and pink one, or the white and blue. And I went for this sort of platinum tint version, which is a women's version of the shoe. And the reason I went for this one is I predominantly like my Air Maxes more in a sort of white colour. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't that kind of keen on getting these. I think the look of them is sort of quite average, really. I think it's not really doing anything special for me, and feels like a regurgitation of all sort of previous Air Maxes, in the sense that the lace loops feel like the Air Max 95, and then the upper with this sort of circular design feels very much like an Air Max 95. And then these little sort of ticks, and almost like this, I suppose how it is on Air Max Plus, where you got this sort of whale's tail. This is like sort of similar to that. And then other parts of it where the outsole looks sort of similar to any other sort of Air Max, really, which obviously it is, because obviously, you know, being in line with being an Air Max trainer at the end of the day. However, I'm just wasn't kind of grabbing me, but I've still got it just to sort of review, really. Not sure if I'll be keeping these, but the back, this is probably the thing that I don't like at all. It kind of gives me car vibes, and in the wrong way, where it just feels like you got this big sort of traction pattern, and it just, like I say, it just makes it look more like a tank and not, or a car rather than a trainer. And I just feel it's just a bit too aggressive. Maybe for the younger crowd they're probably like that, but for me, I'm not so much into it. And going to the sort of tech itself, and I think that is one of the issues for me, is like it looks nice, with the big chunky air bubbles in there, and I'm a sort of big fan of sort of Air Max trainers anyway, especially with like the air technology in there. It's not like amazing, but it's quite nice on feet. And with this one, I think the dynamic system, you can't really feel it that much, only if you sort of squeeze around to, say, towards the side of your heel. So if you sort of press your pressure down on here and you kind of got your foot like that, then this sort of squishes in a bit, and then you feel it. But you're normally not going to walk like that. Most of the time it's from your heel to toe, really, and that's how you kind of walk. And so therefore that kind of pressure, you're not going to get that. I think the only time you would is if you're sort of walking fast and you basically have to sort of swerve quickly or something like that. That's maybe when you'd feel it. So it's more for sort of, I guess, still sort of impact protection and stability. But in general, the way I say these feel, it kind of feels again like an Air Max 1, where you feel quite sort of high up, because this is quite sort of big and chunky. So your heel sits further up, and then it kind of puts more sort of tension on your forefoot, which is not a bad thing sometimes. And because this is sort of replicating, I guess, a runner. And it also has a little bit of bounce back feel to it, so I will say that. So it feels like, I suppose, how you have a sort of fuel cell, and you get that sort of bounce back sort of effect going on. So as soon as you're sort of walking, you feel like you're getting a bit of push from the air system, because it's obviously expanding as you're kind of pushing along. So from that perspective, it's it does feel quite nice on foot, and you feel like you're walking a bit faster, which is the sort of, I suppose, the aim for this type of footwear. And overall, I think it's not bad. It's not like wowing me, like where I'm like, oh, I really want this trainer. So yeah, so it's not bad, but not amazing. So here's the details of the Air Max DN White Pure Platinum. It comes in a white, pure platinum, summit white, and metallic silver colorway. And these have a new style of air units called Dynamic Air Unit in the heel. And it's made up of EVA midsole, as far as I can tell. And it's pretty much all synthetic materials. And the price was £155. So with the comfort and sizing, this is on the medium to firm side, in my opinion. And the dynamic system partially kind of works, in my opinion. And it's one of those ones where you won't really feel it too much on foot whilst you're walking, and you do get a bit of lift off, I will say that. And it kind of feels more like I suppose, an Air Max Plus and a crossover between like an Air Max 1. and or an MX 90. And the reason I say that is because your heel still sits slightly elevated as well, so you do have that going on. And I suppose the midsole and outsole is a bit thicker than sort of standard Air Maxes. And but in all honesty, the comfort isn't a bad type of comfort. You know, it's not on the firm side. It's still medium to firm, I'd say. But just don't expect it to be soft like today's lifestyle runners. This is more still sort of, I suppose, you know, to wear sort of lifestyle, but it is on the medium to firm side. And because of the fact that it's a new silhouette from the MX line, it does have sort of good support around the arch and your foot in general. And there's no wear in time with these, because even though the upper isn't really mesh material, it's a different type of material which is more kind of similar to, I suppose, like a rubber. It still feels very sort of flexible on foot. And I went true to size in these, and that's what I'd recommend. There isn't too much padding inside the trainer itself, so I think true to size does work, and I was fine, and I have a wide foot. And I think they also have really good traction as well, so again, it's similar to a trail shoe, so it's kind of taking its vibes from an Air Max Plus in my opinion. So with the look and style, I like the rugged, chunky look of it. It's a different type of look to the other Air Maxes that have been released so far, and probably more similar to, I suppose, the Air Max Scorpion, because it's quite sort of big and chunky. And also like the colours as well. This one's got kind of, I suppose what you'd say, sort of neutral colours, but at the same time it's got those sort of hits of sort of silver on the upper, going around in like a circular fashion, which looks quite cool, and almost like Swarovski style sort of diamonds, if you will, because it's quite sort of shiny. And I suppose similar to an Air Max Plus, really. I think this one can be worn all seasons. Like I said, because of the thick outsole and also because of the upper being this almost sort of rubber material, I don't think it's going to get that dirty that quickly. And as far as I can tell, there isn't too much sort of breathability in the upper material either. So in that respect, it's not like it's going to keep you like totally warm, but at the same time, it will keep you protected enough. And that's why I would sort of say, you know, you can sort of rock it all seasons. And this is more of a casual wear sneaker in my opinion. It's quite sort of, like I said, that rugged sort of aggressive look to it, especially on the heel. And it's probably more suited to, you know, wearing sort of jeans and cargos and things like that. So, but you should be good to go with that. And with this particular pair, you know, white laces come with it, but you can also put in grey or even maybe black, and that should work well. So with the final thoughts, I like the fact that they've used a new technology. It's not groundbreaking, which is the dynamic air system, but it's still pretty cool and different, and I think it's more of an aesthetic look, and I don't mind that actually. You know, it's like with other sort of Air Max units, I like having, you know, like a visible unit in the midsole. It kind of changes the sneaker up a bit. And I do like the rebound effect. I'd say it's similar to something like a fuel cell, where, you know, as you're walking along, you do get that bit of lift off, and it's mainly to do with the pressure from the air unit sort of bouncing back and rebounding. And the upper material, even though it's not like a expensive upper material or anything like that, but I just like the fact that it's a bit more hard wearing and you know, easier to sort of wear as well. And like I said earlier, it's a good one for all seasons in my opinion. I think this one in particular, you can kind of wear it whenever. Obviously this white colourway, you have to be a bit more careful wearing it sort of autumn winter time, but some of the other colourways I've seen, they're quite sort of a versatile sneaker in that respect. So with the cons, I'm not like the sort of tank like heel, so if you look at the back of it, the train, not that you're going to be looking at the back of it anyway, but to me it doesn't vibe with me. It's probably more for a younger audience in my opinion, and it just looks a bit too sort of aggressive and a bit too sort of over the top. So with the ratings, I forget the look and style, a 4 out of 5. I just think it's not one of those sneakers that is going to be something that I want to keep in the rotation. However, it's quite nice and different, and also sort of unique at the same time. And the comfort, I think it's very similar to, like I say, an Air Max Plus / Air Max 1 or an Air Max 90, and it's kind of a bit of both of those. And it's not like it's horrible comfort, but it's pleasant enough, and you know, you're gonna be fine walking around in all day. But just don't expect it to be like a 1906R or a 990 V6 level, or even like an Invincible run. So the quality, I give that a 4. It's one of those ones where They're not using sort of premium materials, but it's been constructed very well in my opinion. And the pricing, I think with this one they've done pretty well on it, so for £155, but at the same time I don't think it's anything groundbreaking technology wise, so that's why I've given it a 4. But you know, like if you compare it to say an Air Max 1 which retails at sort of 135, 145, then I would say this is a pretty good price. And also if you go to the top end where, you know, an Air Max Plus costs about £175 or an Air Max 95 costs £175, so this isn't too bad in that sort of price range, but I still think it should be lower. And overall I'll give it a score of 4. I think, like I say, just if it misses the mark in my opinion. It's not like a revolutionary or groundbreaking, and what I'd consider sort of groundbreaking or revolutionary at the moment is basically the Nike Invincible Run 3, and you know, that sneaker. It's obviously it's not the same thing, it's a bit different to the Air Max Plus line, but I'm just sort of saying in terms of sort of tech and being something different and something new as well, I think that kind of takes the top spot at the moment in my opinion.